Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom called Nerath, there lived a young man named Zaid. Zaid was poor, but known for his bravery and ambition. He loved adventure and dreamed of changing his fate. One day, while sitting in the marketplace listening to tales from traveling merchants, he overheard a mysterious legend passed down through generations. The cursed city of gold. One merchant whispered, "There is a city filled with gold hidden deep in the desert, but it's not what it seems. Those who enter may never return." Zaid couldn't resist the idea of such a city. He believed it was his chance to change his life. Despite the warnings, Zaid began planning his journey. He knew the path to the city was dangerous, so he sought the wisdom of Suhaib, an old sage who loved legends. When Zaid told him of his plan, Suhaib warned, "My son, the city of gold is not what you imagine. It's a test for all who enter. It may grant riches or lead to ruin. Beware of greed. It is the key to all curses." Ignoring Suhaib's warning, Zaid prepared supplies of water and food and set off with an old map he'd bought from a merchant. His loyal friend, Amr, a cautious and clever young man, insisted on joining him. The journey took weeks, fraught with peril, sandstorms, dwindling water supplies, and lurking predators. Zaid remained determined, while Amr grew increasingly doubtful of the legend's truth. One night, as they sat by their campfire, a mysterious woman appeared. Dressed in a black cloak, she spoke in a deep, haunting voice. "If you seek the city of gold, know that the path is filled with secrets. Remember, not everything that glitters is gold." She vanished as mysteriously as she had appeared, leaving them to wonder whether she was real or an imagination. After a long journey, they finally reached the city site. It was a magical sight. Huge gates covered in gold, towers shining in the sun. It seemed that the legend was true. Zaid and Amr entered the city cautiously. Everything was made of gold. The floors, the walls, even the trees that decorated the central square. There was no one there, but the place was filled with a strange silence. "It is a priceless treasure," said Zaid excitedly, and began to collect the gold and jewels in his bag. As for Amr, he watched cautiously. He noticed that the walls bore strange inscriptions, as if they were ancient warnings. "Zaid, we must be careful. There is something strange in this city," said Amr. But Zaid was so taken by the beauty of the gold that he did not listen. While Zaid was collecting gold, he began to feel that something was wrong. The ground began to shake, and the air became heavy. Suddenly, glowing ghosts appeared that looked like the people of the city. One of them said in an angry voice, "You greedy people! This is not a city of gold, but a prison for those drowning in greed. Leave before this fate closes in on you." Amr was afraid and said, "We have to leave now." But Zaid refused, saying, "This is our chance. I will not return poor." As he tried to collect more, the walls began to crack, and huge cracks appeared in the ground, as if the city was collapsing. Amr ran out of the city, trying to convince Zaid to leave. But suddenly, Zaid found himself surrounded. A huge creature, resembling a city guard, appeared before him and said, "The city gives to those who deserve it and takes from those who drown in greed. Choose gold or your life." Zaid hesitated. He knew that if he took the gold, he would not be able to escape, and if he abandoned it, he would return poor. In the end, Zaid threw down the bag of gold and said, "Nothing is more precious than my life." Zaid and Amr miraculously escaped the city before it completely collapsed. Zaid had learned a great lesson, that greed can cost a person everything. He returned to his village, but he had become a new person. He began to work hard and to teach others that true values do not lie in appearances or wealth, but in wisdom and contentment. One day, Zaid sat down to tell the children his story and said, "Always remember, not all that glitters is gold. Sometimes the real gold is inside us, in our contentment with what we have."